This is the Fight for Your Health, the show that teaches you how to master the fine art of living your life on purpose and have a longer, healthier, and happier life through the martial arts lifestyle. The show is hosted by Professor Buitron and his co-host, Grand Master Richard Hackworth. These two experts have combined their efforts and are on a mission to make the world a safer, healthier, and happier place through the martial arts lifestyle. Now, to tell it like it is, here are your hosts.
Hello, welcome to the Fight for Your Health TV show. I am your co-host, Richard Hackworth, here with our host, Professor Buitron. And today's topic is kids and how can we give them the best future. So Professor Buitron, it's an honor and privilege to be here with you today. How are you?
Doing great here in Texas. How's Florida? How's the weather over there? And how's everybody doing now?
We're starting to get into our rainy season, but I think that I know that we need the rain, so I don't want to complain, and we just keep moving forward.
We're supposed to be in our rainy season. It seems that it's raining matches that are lit. It's so hot out there that, that's the only thing. It's raining fire. Not as bad as June and July, but it's already getting there. We're already touching the 100 degrees here.
Oh, wow.
So I know that as soon as May comes in, then all of a sudden the 100+ days develop, and then we go for about 90 days over 100. But it's all in all, everybody's doing well, and I'm wishing everybody well out there. I want to ask everybody a favor. If you all like our shows, share it. Click the little like button. We're trying to bring you all the best content in a lot of different aspects and a lot of different, different diversities within the martial arts and community topics. So if you like it, click like, click share, and Grand Master Hackworth is doing a great job. Today we're talking about kids and how we can teach them and all that good stuff. And the best person here is Grand Master Hackworth. How are we doing?
I'm doing good. And my introductory thought is that I heard someone say that kids are just different these days. But I have to disagree. Kids are the same. What's changed is society has lowered its expectations. There's a lack of discipline, and there's an acceptance of disrespect, of letting the children disrespect teachers and elders and their parents. And I think that if you give kids boundaries, if you set expectations, give them rules, limits, of course, give them rewards when they're good and consequences when they're bad, they will rise to the challenge and exceed your expectations every time. Because I see that with the students in our martial arts class, because it's like I tell the parents, what you allow is what will continue. I don't allow your child to curse me or disrespect me. So we've already seen that they're capable of better behavior. You just need to make sure that they understand that that is the expectation from now moving forward.
You're absolutely correct. And I guess, since I've been teaching, when we had some of the different programs in the different areas, everybody always comes in, they want their child to be disciplined. Well, discipline, I believe, starts at home. Good manners and everything else starts at home. We're just here to kind of continue that road. But you're correct. Once you start learning the respect, to show respect to others and everything else, they will do that in their other endeavors, like in school and the playground and parties and gatherings. They're going to continue with that. But if you disallow that and just let them do whatever they want, well, they're going to do whatever they want. But you're absolutely correct. What else have you found within teaching kids that's kind of a common ground?
Well, I know I give a lot of parenting advice in our school group, and every now and then I'll get a message from a parent that tries to tell me, well, it's like this, and and I'm like, well, you're basing your experience on your two children and what you allow and don't allow. But I'm basing what I said on my experience with literally thousands of children over the years. So I feel that my advice is more valid because my sample size is huge. You're telling me about 2 kids. I'm telling you about thousands and what has worked consistently with all of them. So parents need to be willing to take a little advice and swallow their pride every now and then. And if your child is cursing you and being disrespectful at home, you need to let the teacher know, because sometimes it's that third party voice to the child that gets them to understand, yeah, I really shouldn't treat my mommy and daddy that way. And so it makes a big change at home. And I've had parents that come to me and tell me that literally after just a few weeks, that they can't believe the difference in their child, because we tell the children things like, look, you don't have a job, you don't pay rent, you're just a freeloader at your parents' house, stealing their groceries and living under their roof. You need to do something to earn these things. So when you get home, you need to do 3 things to help your mom and dad around the house. And I'm going to ask them at the next class what 3 things you did. So you better make sure that you point out to them that you're doing these 3 things because you appreciate them. And just that small thing, that daily habit of them doing just 3 things around the house has made a huge change in their life. And the parents are very happy to see that in the child, that they're learning some self-discipline. And the reason I give them a number is that those specifics are how you develop the discipline. You set a schedule and you set standards or quotas and you stick to it. That's how the military does it. That's how private schools do it. You hear about these parents that send their kids to these private elementary schools here in Florida that cost $35,000 a semester. $35,000 a semester for a 3rd grader to go to school. This is the system they use. They have very clear requirements. They have quotas on the amount of work you're supposed to do, and you will be graded on it. So it's not just enough to do 3 things. They have to do those 3 things very well to get the credit.
No, you're absolutely correct. And nowadays, I've been finding more. They're bringing more kids. There's a lot more kids that are coming from single parent households, whether it's from the mom in guardianship or the father in guardianship. But usually, the ones that are coming in for the mom, they're coming in for some type of how can I say, male figure, father role model kind of idea. And I've had some issues that have occurred that moms come in there and say, please talk to him about this and so on and so forth. And I remember one time one of the moms came in about the son being bullied at school, and money was taken away from him, and he lent money out. She was making a big deal about that money had been removed, from the child. And then it comes out that he lent the money out and the kid wouldn't pay for it. And I was giving him advice and so on and so forth. And then later on that day, my son's been teaching. He overheard the conversation, and we were watching in that movie, The Bronx Tale came out. Remember?
Yes.
And when the actor Chad from Asterius is telling the young lad that was trying to be in the mob, and he tells him, "Oh, what's $20? You lost somebody for $20. You came out cheap with that. If he doesn't want to pay, you never have to deal with him again." And it was kind of like, he goes, that's the way you sounded. And I go, well, if the kid's not going to pay you the $2 that he owes you, forget about it. Keep on going forward, right? But how can you tell an 11-year-old that who's never been around? So it's you find yourself in these dilemmas, and it's that role model that they're after, and that's the danger part. I'm gonna tell you why. Because kids want to belong. They want to have that type of discipline. Really, they want to have that type of respect. And if parents aren't giving them at the house, they're going to find them in some other activity, whether it's in band or whether it's in football, baseball, or what have you, or your local gang. And that's really what happens. They're gonna go out there and they're gonna follow to be in a place that they belong. And that's a hardship, especially throughout the United States. And parents, if you guys believe that there's no gangs in your city, wake up. They're all over the place, and they're getting younger and younger by in and they were in middle school. They might be in grade school now. So it's very hard when they start growing up. So we have to start setting those ideas, those goals, like the programs of the martial arts, very, 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 and how can I say, shorten their time in their years. You have to start them off that way for the discipline to set it.
Yes, I agree. The thing is that, humans in general, we're social creatures, and our biggest desire is to want to belong.
Sure.
And if the child is a loner, has low confidence, and they don't have friends really, then they're going to end up belonging to the kind of group that the parents do not want them involved with,
Absolutely.
because those bad groups seek those kids out. And then they use the kids for, like stealing money from the parents and different stuff. So the best thing that you can do, first of all, for your child is make them feel like they belong to your family, and constantly be talking to them about things. And I know, like, a big one is for parents. What'd you do at school today? Well, kids aren't that specific. They can't narrow it down. So you have to ask them something like, "What made you smile today?" And normally they'll love to tell you about something. Or was there anything that upset you today? Because that's specific and they can tell you about that. And you can advise them on, what to do next time or how to not feel that way about it. And so when you narrow down what the kids are having to tell you, then it really makes it easier for them to focus and tell you something. And they love to tell you things. We got kids in our after school program that when they come in the door, they can't wait to come over, and they'll stand in line and wait their turn to tell me about something at school because I listen. And you have to put your phone down and look that kid in the eyes and actually listen. And this is where parenting gets easy, because too many parents listen to respond, right? They already know what they're going to say when the kid starts the thing. You need to listen, and then before you give them a response, ask them a question that lets them continue talking and explaining, because sometimes they don't give you the whole truth on the first go around. So when they find that you allow them to express themselves and to get it out of their system and to tell you what was upsetting them, then it's a whole lot easier to solve their problems, because you know the problem, because you allowed them to tell you. But if you cut a kid off in the middle of a sentence and just tell them, hey, suck it up, drive on, then that's not going to help the child. That means that next time they're not even going to bother to try to tell the parent that something was wrong.
You are absolutely correct.
And particularly when you're talking about dealing with adults, if you didn't listen to the problems they're having with their friends and they stop telling you about problems, what happens when there's an adult that's victimizing them? They're not going to come forward because they know you don't care what happens to them as a parent. That's what they believe. Now, you do care, of course, because it's your child, but you didn't let them express themselves to the point that they know that and they feel confident coming to you with, hey, this one teacher was asking me to stay after school with him or whatever. You got to let them share those things so that you're always aware of the problems in their life, because you can't be there with them 24/7 to protect them, but you need to be available when they're ready to tell you about something, and be 100% available, or else they will become the victim of something that you could have prevented. And the regret of that will eat you up as a parent.
Absolutely. You're absolutely correct. And that's something that we have to listen. That is something that all parents have to do, that and continue asking questions and get involved with what they like. And don't force kids to do something that you wanted to do when you were a kid. In other words, I see this in a lot of parents. The mom wasn't a gymnast, so she wants to put the kid into gymnastics. Kid doesn't want to be in gymnastics. Or the father wanted to be in football, wants to make sure the kid's inside football, and that's not what the kid wants to be in. So they're going to rebel against that. Eventually, they're just going to say they're going to rebel. So place them where the kid feels comfortable at. People say all martial arts are the same. Not really. The schools are different, the styles are different, the attitudes are different. So what happens? Maybe your son likes this school here and he's going to excel. Take him there, you know. And if you no once they want to go to the other school, you take them to the place where they feel comfortable at.
Yes.
That's where you leave your child. And that's a mistake a lot of parents do. The child starts getting self confidence. They bring him in. He was very down. He was very shy. He was very recluse. Starts gaining self confidence. You can start seeing that in there. You can start seeing it in their technique and their movement and everything else. And all of a sudden, the parent says, "You know what? We're going to take you out. We're going to put you in this other one over here. You're gonna you're gonna take him off. He's gonna shut down and then go somewhere else, and he's gonna maybe like it, maybe not." So people need to understand that as well. Sometimes it's not a good idea to remove.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that I try to let parents know that let the coaches and instructors make corrections. And all you need to do is support and encourage them. After the class, don't tell the kid, hey, you were doing this poorly. They know that they were doing it poorly, and the instructor is helping them with that. Just tell them something simple like, I love to watch you do martial arts. And you'll be amazed at how much harder the kid tries, because we all know that when you try harder, you do better. And to remind them to focus, the coaches, we're going to remind them to focus, because that carries over to the classroom. We tell them when we're talking, look us in the eye. And same thing at school. When your teacher's talking, look them in the eye and pay attention to what they're saying, because hearing the sound of their voice while you're doodling on a piece of paper and understanding what they're saying are two completely different things. And this is something that we pointed out recently to our parents, that right now, like, we give honor roll awards. If you are an academic achiever, if you made the honor roll at your school, we give you an award certificate from our school. And because we started doing that, right now, all of our students, 100% of the children in our program are on the academic honor roll at their school. So, and if we get a student in that's a bad student, within 90 days, the parents are going to see a huge turnaround, because we've taught them how to focus. It wasn't that your child isn't smart. Your child wasn't paying attention, right? And so once the child starts paying attention, and when they take the test, I heard the teacher talking about this, I read this, then it makes it easy for them. But when they're easily distracted, they don't need medication. They just need to be told, look, when somebody's talking to you, look them in the eyes. And we've actually had children come off of medications for ADHD and other conditions because their focus had improved so much through martial arts training that they no longer needed the medication. So I tell parents, that your attention and your support and your encouragement is the best medication your child can get.
I agree with you 100%. And listening to you, the same thing has occurred over here in our school. And that right there is where it's at. Make sure that, listen, if your child is playing football, I guarantee you there's a no pass, no play rule. But no pass means 70%. 70%. If he's doing 71, he's still going to be playing football. And guess what? Most teachers will curve that D to a C for him to have an extra football player. I guarantee you that's going to happen in high school. I guarantee you it's going to happen in junior high. That's going to happen. Okay? They'll give them that extra 2 points. Here, when we started the honor roll 2 years ago, all our kids have become honor roll students. The ones that have not this time around, they have raised their grades from C's and B's to A's and B's. Understand? Some of them have raised their grade because they started out later, but I guarantee you, they continue, they'll make the honor roll. It's that just that way. Because why? Because they start paying attention. You know, we started this past week because I started noticing when you'll ask them a question, they'll look down and they'll start questioning. And it was just not one, it was the majority. Like if they didn't have that confidence. So right now we're starting off, guess what? You're gonna write me a paragraph and you're gonna stand up in class and we're gonna start doing a little bit of public speaking. And we're gonna start and in front of class, and how you do it, nobody here is gonna laugh at you. Nobody should be laughing at you. So you're gonna start learning how to talk public. Why? Because if you can't talk here with your friends, I understand this is exactly the same thing that you're doing in school. Right. You know, we had one mother got kind of irritated because we're doing that we shouldn't be. Oh, too bad. But the rest of the kids did it, and everybody came out, and everybody was enjoying themselves afterward, and they were saying, "Hey, when's the next one?" So they were looking forward to it.
Yeah, you know, it's unfortunate that more parents don't encourage their children to do these things for like the public speaking, because if they don't develop the kind of confidence that they need for doing those things, eventually their first chance to do any public speaking is going to be after they hear those 5 famous words. And those words are, "Will the defendant please rise?" Don't let that be the first time in your child's life that they're going to get to speak in front of a group of people. You know, you have to start that when they're young. And one of the things I want to share, I know we're getting close to the end of our time, but I have a friend who works at a very exclusive private academy. And like I said, $35,000 a year or a semester, not $35,000 a year, but $35,000 a semester for people to attend this private academy for children, right? And 2 of the things that they do there, like all the public schools have like a dress up day, silly socks day or dress up in a costume day. At their school, they have a dress up day. But the thing is, you have to dress up like a professional of what occupation you want to be when you grow up, or you have to dress up as an important historical figure from the field of class that you like a scientist or a mathematician or something. And the second thing that's required at that school that the teachers make sure happens is that every day the parents are required to read to that child for 20 minutes a day of reading. And for the children, that 20 minutes that they get started on is the most attention they've ever gotten so far in their life. Because up until then, the parents were like, "Okay, here's your device, go to your room, stay out of my way." And so now they're being engaged by the parents who are reading to them. And then when they dress up, when they fantasize and dream about things, they're dreaming about things they can achieve. A kid is not going to grow up to be Batman or Spider-Man. So when you let them that be their focus and that be their fantasy, you're setting them up for failure from day one. And I thought that was the most brilliant thing I had heard when she was telling me about it. And I think that if more parents do that, and if more parents set a good example at home, you know, like if the husband and wife yell at each other in front of the kid, guess what? The kid's going to yell at his friends because that's the behavior he's been taught. He's going to yell back at his teacher. You know, parents need to be mindful that their behavior is the first lesson that child receives in how to communicate. So let it be a good one.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So Professor, in closing, do you have anything you'd like to share with our listeners?
Number one, this goes out to the parents. Parents, when you take your child to a martial arts school, do your research on the school. Do your research on everything that's going on. Only because somebody's teaching martial arts in the corner doesn't mean it's for the good. Research everybody before you place your child inside. And sometimes the cheapest in town is not the best, so,
Right.
so understand that, there's a reason for that. Look at the reviews, talk to people, talk to the students, talk to the parents, talk to go take your child, look at the older students. And I'm not talking about older in age, the students that have been there the longest, the higher ranks. How are they behaving? Because believe me, that's how your child is going to end up behaving. Don't look at the instructor and how he's like. Look at the students and how they are behaving.
Exactly. Yeah, because
Exactly.
role models are important, and the younger kids look up to those higher belts, and the older kids, just like big brothers and sisters. And that's the thing that we're mindful of about the instructors and people in our school, even the volunteers, is even something simple like their personal hygiene and the type of haircut that they have. If you want your kid to grow up and be a doctor, you have to ask yourself, do 90% of the people in the medical profession wear the kind of haircut of the guy that my kid is looking up to or not? Right? Little things like that make a difference. And people will say to me, well, Richard, you shouldn't judge people by their appearance. That's the only thing you can judge them by. It is the first indication of their self-discipline. If their personal hygiene is lacking, then I guarantee you every other aspect of their life is a mess. And that's not who you want your kids looking up to.
Absolutely.
A guy that doesn't shower often, and you know what I mean? So yeah, we just have to be mindful of that as parents and teachers. But so in wrapping up, I just want to thank everybody for watching. Like I said, if you haven't clicked to like and subscribe yet, go ahead and do that now. And we'll look forward to coming back at you again. I think this is going to be a popular topic. We'll probably revisit some of these subjects again in the near future. So in the meantime, share us with your friends, subscribe to the channel. And I'm Richard Hackworth, thanking you for watching.
And you all stay safe, be safe, and continue moving forward in a positive direction. Until next time, much peace.